All right, I wanted to sort of quickly go through printing, so I'm going to go to File and Print. I have it set up to print the masses right now in this assignment, and we'll look at updating that in a minute. The first thing you want to do is get your printer driver. I'm using the Adobe PDF. You can also download the Qt PDF or the free PDF driver if you don't have the Adobe PDF. And the first thing we want to do is set up a custom page size, because this is a 12 by 24, and that's not going to typically give us the page size that we need. So that's in the properties here for the Adobe PDF, and it's going to be in the properties for the other drivers as well, but it might be in a different place. So ask if you have any issues, and Andrea and I will try and help you out. So I'm going to go to properties here for the Adobe PDF, and right now it's set to letter, and I just want to add a custom size. So you can come in here and just name it 12 by 24. And so we're going to set the width at 12 and the height at 24. Right? And I'm just going to click Add Modify. And it's going to add that to the options. So if you go to the pull down, you'll see if I scroll, there'll be the 12 by 24. I also have another one that I put in there earlier, but that one, this is the one I just added. Right? So if I click OK, I can now go into my setup, and instead of letter, I can go to the pull down, and it's going to be down at the bottom. I can pick that 12 by 24, and it's going to do it landscape. And right now it's centering and it's fitting it to page, which we don't really want, but I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if you leave it set to the default settings and you click OK here, I'm going to save that. It's going to preview the current window, which is our sheet. And if I do the preview, it fits everything on the page that's on the sheet. So typically what you want to do instead of the default setup, if I go back to print, it'll take me back to the print dialog box. And I can go to setup. And instead of center and fit to page, I want offset from corner and zoom 100%. And then I'm going to click OK. And then if I preview, it's going to start down here at the left-hand corner and go 12 by 24. And that's going to give me what I want. If I go back, I'm just going to go ahead and close this. If I have anything that is below and to the left, so let's say I move this down here and this over here, that's going to mess up my print the way that I have it set up. So if I go back to Control P and I go to the setup just to confirm, right, that we have it offset from corner and then zoom 100%, just like I did last time, and I go to preview, close, it's going to find the very bottom left corner. So if you have anything extra, you need to have it up and to the right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close that and pull this guy back over here and pull this guy back over here. So basically the setup is get your paper set up, get your correct paper size set up. You're going to print the current window. There are other options that we'll talk about later. And then you go to setup, you pick the correct paper size, right? You offset it from a corner, zoom 100%, go ahead and hide your reference, hide all your reference work planes, your unreferenced view tags, your crop boundaries, and your scope boxes, unless you want to show them. The raster quality, you can set to presentation. That'll be a higher setting. And then it's going to do vector processing if it can, but if it can't, it'll do raster. It's obviously doing landscape. And then once you do that, you can click OK. I'm just not going to save that. And then if you do a preview, just to make sure everything's going to be okay, it looks like that, looks good. You can go back to print, and then you can click OK, click close. I'll just write over this one, say yes, and it will print that guy out. Now, I will say sometimes it gets hung printing. Every once in a while, the Adobe PDF goes a little nuts. The best thing to do is really just save your Revit file and reopen Revit and see if that will work. Typically 9 times out of 10 it will. But here's your PDF. Okay. One last thing I wanted to go over was switching, because you want to print the masses once, and then you want to print the tectonic version. So to do that, you can come in and you can just select your schematics, right, and right click on them and apply the view templates that we were talking about, that we set up. So if we go to plan schematic, right? It'll go in and change those, and then you would go in and let's change these guys. I think this one. Right, so those guys get, and then, and maybe, trying to think, those two would be the sections and the elevation. So we'll just do all of them. Why not? View template, and let's do section schematic for those guys, right? And you'll see them all. And so once you get that, then you can also move these guys off because these are the mass ones. And you can move these guys on. You may have to adjust them a little bit, depending on how many different types of floors and how things are fitting for you. So go ahead and do that if you need to. And then you would just go to Control P, and it should be fine if the previous one was fine, and you print that guy out. Okay?